Welcome to today's episode of the Insurance, Life, and Everything in Between podcast. My name is Adam Brsan.
And I'm Chris Smith.
If you've yet to do so, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode. And if you love this podcast, don't forget to share it with a friend or colleague. We greatly appreciate your help and support.
Today we're talking consistency, but we're talking about consistency in a way that is a little bit different than you probably heard before.
Yeah, just keeping it simple. You know, when you're in the house, it kind of goes into our topic today of consistency. I mean, I think the more you do something, you just become more and more comfortable with it, where it just becomes, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. Like sometimes when I'm in the house, my mouth is moving, I'm doing the talking, and like I'm thinking about like baseball practice. You know what I mean? Like it's just so repetitive. It's like so ingrained in my head that I can sit there and present and like, yeah, half the time not even paying attention to what I'm saying because it's just like on auto. It's like on autopilot, like on repeat.
Tony Robbins calls that being in state, I believe. And that's actually like the semi-spiritual sense of being so good at something, you can do something without having to think about that something that you're doing. If you guys have heard that before, look it up. I know exactly what Tony Robbins calls that. I think I have it correct. Somebody check me on that in the on the phone or on social media. Adam, and in this business, I think people get so wrapped up in everything around them. When things start to go wrong, I think to me, that's a chance to figure out how to do better. It just as a parent, as a person on this planet, as a business owner, I still believe that when things aren't going exactly the way they're supposed to, that gives us a chance to figure out how to make improvements. You kind of see where I'm going with that thought?
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually taking some notes while you were talking, not even really about what you were talking about, but just kind of leading into talking about consistency. And the first thing I wrote down was questions that really you ask when an agent is struggling. Because a lot of it usually comes back to what are the things that they're not doing consistently. Did you order leads this week? Yes or no? If an agent is struggling, there's a good chance maybe that they didn't order leads this week. Or maybe they ordered leads this week, but maybe they hadn't ordered leads for the last 3 weeks prior. It's just, again, so much of this is just about being consistent and just kind of having that steady lead flow on a regular basis. So I think those are important questions. Just, how many people did you sit with this week? Why did you only sit with 2 people? What are you, when are you leaving your house? What time are you getting up in the morning? What time are you getting home at night? So much of this is just based off of activity and the things that we're doing on a regular basis. I mean, I know you've said it in the past too, Chris, consistent production. It all comes from all the other activities that we're consistently doing. When it comes to consistently ordering leads, consistently having appointment setters that are setting up the week for us, consistently being out in the field, consistently having those hours that we know that we plan on being out in the field. I'm really kind of cutting into a lot of the presentation that we'll be going through, but that's, like I said, that's really the key, I think, is just, you got to be consistent with all parts of your business. You can't be consistent on one thing, like, okay, I'm going to go out every day, but not have new people to see on a regular basis. It's
not going to work.
And even, another thing I was thinking about too, Chris, when it comes to building, for those of you out there that are building teams, or maybe you've tried to build a team and maybe you're struggling with it. Same thing. I've ran into this in my career a few times where, if you recruit a lot of people, that's great, but you can't just recruit 10 people and say, okay, I'm good. Like, just like ordering leads, you got to be consistent when it comes to recruiting. Because, unfortunately, not everybody's going to stay. Not everybody's going to work out. More will probably fail than will succeed. That's just how it is. I wish I could say it was the other way around, but not everybody makes it in this business. And again, I think a lot of it has to do with those that aren't doing the things that we're talking about. They're not doing these consistent activities. But in the end, some people would prefer to play the blame game and it's everybody else's fault but theirs when they didn't really do the things that they knew that they needed to be doing to be successful. All right, well, here we go. The consistency blueprint is what I titled our training for today. The power of consistency. We're going to be talking about consistent efforts in lead generation, consistency in maintaining a steady schedule, consistency in communication, follow-ups, and servicing our clients. I mean, these are all things that are important when it comes to having that, consistent production, consistent success. So the benefits of consistent lead generation, well, it ensures a continuous flow of potential clients. And again, I mean, it's crazy because we order leads every single week. I have leads. I have leads that I order every single week. I wish I could say I got a hold of every single one of those leads the first week. I don't get a hold of every single lead the second week or third week or fourth week. I mean, there's leads that I ordered a year ago that I still haven't gotten a hold of, but that's just part of it. You're not going to get a hold of every single person, every single lead. I think that's another concern maybe with the way some agents do their business. I've seen where some agents, they're not, again, when they're not consistent with ordering those leads, they place one lead order, they get 20 leads, and they don't want to place another lead order until they have a yes or no on every single one of those leads. And that's just not going to happen. There's just people that you're never going to get a hold of. I could try calling, I could try texting, I could try door knocking. I've done all of them. I have the appointment setters where they're calling my leads. I mean, boy, if I showed you the spreadsheet, I mean, it's crazy how often the appointment setters are calling the leads. They could do their part and call and text and text and text. I could door knock 30 times each lead. There's just some people we're never going to get a hold of, and you can't slow down on placing new lead orders because you are still trying to disposition every single one of your leads. So, again, talking about just consistency with this, and really it's about building up an inventory, having that steady flow of leads on a regular basis. And, the good thing about having an inventory of leads, when I'm in an area now, and let's say it's 10 o'clock in the morning and I might not have an appointment until 1 o'clock. I might not have any new leads in that area, but I could go back into my iPad. I could search that zip code and I'm going to find a ton of leads from throughout the last 12 months that I can go back that I still haven't made contact with, that I can door knock. And I mean, you would be surprised at the number of people that I still make connections with on leads that are a year old, people that just filled the thing out that I was never able to reach the first few times. So again, if I wasn't consistent with placing those lead orders and building up that inventory, I wouldn't have the ability to be able to do that. So let's see here. It improves your conversion rate. Again, I mean, consistently ordering leads, you're going to sit down with a consistent number of people and you're going to get better. And that's going to improve your conversion rate over time. And like I mentioned earlier, it builds up that inventory of contacts. When I'm in an area, I always have people to see, and not a whole lot of downtime. I mean, when I'm out in the field, 9 in the morning till, last appointment, usually 6 o'clock at night. In the summertime, I'm usually door knocking till 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night. So again, by building up that inventory, it makes it a lot easier to be able to create activity when I need it. I see Chris twice here on the bottom.
Uh-oh.
What's up?
What's
up, Chris?
How'd that happen? Uh-oh. How do I remove my other self?
All right, I removed you.
Yeah. Real quick side note, I had some technical difficulties there. You're talking about the importance of consistently purchasing leads. For those wondering about appointment setting, I have a number to share with you that I've shared with you guys before. 38%. 38% of the leads you purchase, you should be setting an appointment with. off of that initial set of leads. Now that 38% is extracted in week one, come back the next week, you can't expect the same results off the same set of leads. There's no way you're going to get the consistency to develop the averages necessary if you're not doing the same thing over and over again. Our entire industry is so massively predictable. That's why the insurance industry exists. You have to be consistent to allow that predictability to take place.
Yes. And, I just even think about other businesses, Chris. I mean, really any business out there, they're doing different things that are consistent with their business to keep their business running. You go to the gas station. I mean, they're filling up the gas at the gas station all the time. If they didn't fill up the gas at the gas station, nobody would have gas to put in their cars. Just stuff like that. I mean, any business, restaurant, they consistently have more food coming in. People aren't showing up at a restaurant and ordering something. Oh, sorry. We're all out of that. We're all out of this too. And everything else. Like, no, they're consistently, it's part of their business. All of that really is like purchasing leads. The restaurant, well, they have to purchase the food. They got to purchase stuff around the restaurant to be able to have people in their building to be able to serve to. Just like in our business, we have to purchase leads in order to go out and serve the people that need our help. So moving forward here, tips to have a steady lead flow. Pretty easy. Set money aside from every commission you earn to purchase more leads. You got a budget. I recommend to new agents, I think it's good to set aside at least 20% of every sale that you make. Open up a separate bank account if you need to. These days, it makes it pretty easy. I mean, there's accounts out there where you could even have it set on autopilot, where automatically, anytime a deposit comes in, a certain percentage could automatically move over to a separate account. But that's just something that's going to make it easier on you, whether you have that ability or not with whatever bank that you use. Even if you got to do it manually, just remember, when you have a commission coming in, move that money over, pretend like you never saw it. The only thing you're using it for is to purchase leads. And you got to build that budget up and have that money. And like I said, pretend like you never saw the money. And the only thing that money's there for is for future lead orders, because you are running a business. And with any business out there, with any business out there, there's expenses involved. That's just part of it. And that's what you're going to do to keep your business running, is to have that steady lead flow. Yeah. What's up, Chris? You look like you want to say something.
Yeah, there's a lot of caffeine in this latte today from the coffee store. I interrupted. I'm sorry. I told somebody yesterday, the money in my business bank account is not my money, and my money is the salary I take from my business and nothing else. I heard Kyrie say it a couple of weeks ago. The thing he wanted to improve on this year is removing those monies from commingling and really looking at business money as business money. And when you look at business money as business money, buying leads is normal. It's no big deal. And I think a lot of agents, maybe somebody watching today, has to say to themselves, if I didn't go into the field today as a personal producer, fully dependent on my production to pay my bills, then my business was closed. I think people are afraid to admit what that really means. If you don't go out in the field on a Monday, your business was not open. How else are they supposed to buy things from you if your store isn't open? And I mean, look, people all the time make these decisions to micro quit their business instead of actually just open it up and see what would happen. So consistency is having a consistent schedule as well, like I'm sure you're going to dive into.
Yeah. And, the one thing I've always talked about, Chris, is betting on yourself. I've had situations in the past where maybe I had a bill that I needed to pay. Maybe I had, something important that I needed to pay for, but I also needed to purchase leads. And so, you got to say, okay, well, let's see. Should I pay this bill right now that I know is due? Or should I bet on myself and purchase the leads and know that next week I'm going to go out and be able to make more money? And that's really the wager that you got to put on yourself. And I think that more people need to focus on betting on themselves, purchasing leads. You pay the bill. Like if you have money, if you only have enough money to do one thing and you pay that bill, well, then how are you going to be able to go out and work next week? Your week next week is going to be even harder. So purchase the leads, bet on yourself, go out there and make more sales, and then you can pay whatever bills you need to pay. And again, same thing, set money aside for future lead orders. So, and I know sometimes it can be difficult to do that, but like I said, you gotta bet on yourself and know that you will make sales. Like, how often are you going to order 20 leads or more and not make one sale or two sales? And if you're placing a lead order, I mean, one sale really should cover your lead order. So anything else is profit. So that's why it's really not a huge wager betting on yourself. You know, you're going to come out ahead more than likely. I mean, I could probably count on one hand in 22 years the number of times I didn't come on ahead when I place a lead order.
And I mean, not even
usually you're going to make a lot more than what you put into it.
It might be next week. It might be the week after. It might be some small seed you planted this week that sprouts itself into something bigger the next week. And that's just because you're showing up every single week. I mean, we had a guy quit in under 3 weeks this month. He didn't even have the chance to be successful. The money he was going to spend on leads, and you've heard the story, Adam, but I think social media deserves to hear it. He signed up for our mini Facebook lead program, which consistently puts fresh leads in people's hands every day. Not leads older than your kids, not leads older than my kids, fresh leads of people that clicked an ad and said, I want life insurance, plain and simple. And he quit in the process of those leads coming in. So I said, the money's already been spent. Send the leads to me. Those leads came to me. I went out and wrote business. It's just that consistent belief that if I'm out there in front of somebody with a little bit of interest in what I have, I'm going to be able to turn that into an opportunity to help somebody.
Yeah, I just don't know. Is there an easy way to make money, Chris? I mean,
No.
if there is, I haven't found it yet. I mean, some people just think that, I don't know, they think that they purchase leads and like everybody's just going to welcome into their home with open arms and like every single one of them is just ready to take out a policy. Like, no, I wish it was that easy. I mean, it's a grind.
They are, but yeah.
I mean, God, yesterday I did so much driving. I didn't write one app yesterday, Chris, and just driving all over the globe, you know, searching for business. It's part of it. You know, not every day is the best. I mean, I've had days like that. I've also had days where I write 6, 7, 8,000 in premium. So again, yeah, it's a weighing game. You can't like that. I mean, it's such a small sample size to give up on something. And people like that, I feel like they never give anything a chance, and they're going to continue to just blame everything, all of the surroundings around them for why they just can't get a break.
Yeah, Adam, he said before I blocked him because I couldn't tolerate that level of negativity. He's like, "You lied to me. You lied to me." I'm thinking to myself, of all the things I failed at in life and in business, I've never lied to somebody about anything. And maybe he lied to himself about the fact that, as you're saying, making a lot of money is not easy. If you want easy, there are an abundance of salaried positions out there where you can feel fulfilled and have an easy living. This isn't easy to make a lot of money.
No, it really isn't. Like I said, I mean, it's just, it's such a small sample size. What did he say? What did he say you were lying about?
I don't know. I don't lie. I was blown away. I'm like, there's nothing I lie about. And I mean, maybe I wasn't realistic enough about the fact that this wasn't easy enough. But I mean, how many videos have we posted in 2 years that have said repeatedly, this isn't easy. Here's the system that you have to do it, but you have to do it. So I was blown away. But I was actually fine with the fact that I proved the system still works when I took the money that was meant for his leads and went out there and worked them and proved that it worked. Like if I failed them, I'd be like, man, I feel awful. I freaking failed this guy, but I definitely didn't.
Maybe the issue is so many of the other places out there make this business out to be easier than it is.
Yeah.
So regardless of where the agent decides that they finally want to plant their contracts or whatever you want to say, I mean, I think that maybe going in, they just think, oh yeah, boy, it's going to be easy. You know, I talked about that. You see some of these TikTok videos and agents on the phone, they just make it look so easy. And it's like, how many hundreds of calls did you have to make until you finally got that one lay down on the phone to make your video? I mean, it's not that easy. And it's either way, whether you're out in the field or you're selling over the phone. It's a grind. I mean, you got to put the time in. And those that are successful will tell you that. I bet even the people making these videos that make it look easy, they'll tell you, no, I wish it was that easy. But it just isn't. But I think that, unfortunately, I think a lot of that tends to make this business look as though it is easy and misleading. And that's when people like that show up, Chris, and they think that, a small lead campaign, what was it, like 270, 250 or 275 for like what, 10 Facebook leads, something like that?
Yeah. So it's not retail cost. And Melvin asked a question about it, so we'll take a quick sidebar and answer the
Yeah.
question. We have a almost a new rule here, and I can't make rules. You're 1099. You can do what you freaking want. But I know for a fact that consistency leads to results, and a lack of consistency leads to roll up. Plain and simple. The agents that roll debt to us are typically not on leads and not invested in consistent results. So I believe that if you're going to do this business right and you're going to do it with our agency, you need to be on leads. Plain and simple. You want to be on advancing, you got to be on leads. Otherwise, I'm just buying myself more debt. So we brought on this group of individuals, this gentleman included, and we offer them the mini Facebook program, which is not a retail price. It's at cost, which means, simply speaking, you're going to get more leads at a lower cost. The program, basically, you can pay as little as around $275 a week to as much as around $500 per week. Anything more than that, you should just be on a regular order or direct mail. The program is designed at a low cost to give you a few people every week to just kind of ramp up your business. Approximately 10 to 12 leads a week, Melvin, off of the lowest end of the ad spend. And that 10 to 12 people are fresh, interested individuals, not 10-year-old leads that 10 other agents have worked. So you can go out there and start making money and slowly scale up your weekly investment to slowly increase your lead spend. So that's what we love to start agents out on. Give them a little skin in the game. Give them some fresh people to see. Give them some proof of concept. And then they can scale, as John Washoe has done, as Jerry Garcia has done. They keep increasing that lead order a little bit at a time, that lead spend, to increase that lead order. So that's a long answer to a short question, but hopefully that answers Melvin's question about the lead program. And the cool part about it is you can even add it on top of your direct mail order, like I'm going to do, because the leads are so high intent. Adam, you've worked toolkit leads before. They're so high intent that, God, I walked into the house and the guy's like, yeah, I filled that out over the weekend. I need life insurance. My wife just died. I don't have it. Can you help me get it? Could you be served up any more play down?
Yeah. One thing that I have noticed, Chris, because I was working a lot of the toolkit leads, I was working a lot of those last year. Like I'd say like the beginning of the year, probably I would say maybe like the whole first quarter of last year. And then I finally kind of got on the steady flow of the direct mail, where now I'd say the last 9-10 months, I've had pretty steady flow of direct mail every single week. Mm-hmm. And I remember last year working the toolkit leads, and I was like, man, they're really good leads, and they still are really good leads, where I can show up and say the word life insurance, and I don't get like kicked off of the front porch. I mean, like, people know it's about life insurance when they're filling the form out. So it's not misleading. I don't have to walk up and act like I work for the government and let everybody know what I did this week.
You mean you don't? Yeah. The reality of Facebook leads is, when you're talking about face-to-face sales, Josh gave you a good reference, guys, about doing it for telesales, $80 to $100 a day if you're going to even come close to surviving. When you're doing digital marketing for face-to-face, you have to buy 4 times as many Facebook leads to equal 1 direct mail, just simply on the fact that they're more spread out. If you buy 4 times as many, it corrects the issue and you're seeing just as many people. But you have to understand that with Facebook, they're going to be way more spread out than a direct mail, which is all confined in like one little zip code area.
Oh, yeah. Well, one thing, Chris, that I was going to mention is that the one thing, at least that I noticed this week, and maybe it is small sample size because, again, I haven't worked the Facebook leads in probably a good 9-10 months. One thing I noticed, it seems like even more than ever, it's like you got to get on these things quick.
Right away.
I think the telesales market is so big and so many people are running these ads, and that they fill out the one ad for Toolkit, but then they see 5 other ones that they're filling out. I worked 20 of the Facebook leads this week, and I bet at least of the people I got a hold of, at least 3 or 4 of them told me that they had just taken out a policy, that like they had just taken care of it. Um, I sat down with one of them that I might end up replacing what she just did, but yeah, I mean there were a good at least 3 or 4 of them that they had just taken out a policy within like the last couple days. So that to me that just means that they are looking for insurance.
Oh yeah.
They're filling out the ads, and you got to be the first one to get in touch with them. And they fill, and that's where I think that door knocking them is good, because you're going to get so many people don't answer their phone that you're going to get in front of a lot of the leads before that person that is just constantly calling nonstop. So if you're door knocking it, yeah, there's still a good chance. Even, some people, yeah, they'll answer the phone. Maybe they'll end up getting sold over the phone. But I think that a lot of them, you just got to hurry up on them. I mean, when you see that thing come in, door knock it the same day. Like, don't be afraid. Don't be like, oh, they're going to think that's weird if I just show up the same day. No. Maybe if you have that set in your mind, they're going to think it's weird, but you can't even think about it. I mean, yeah, the sooner you get on it, the better. And you just tell them, I saw that your response had just come in. I've done that. I've door knocked a Facebook lead 10 minutes after they filled the thing out.
Me too.
Just happened to be in the area. Yep. And that's what I tell them. I noticed you just sent this in. I just coincidentally happened to be in the area. So I figured I'd try catching you to go over this, because I know that's important. But the sooner you get on those things, the better. And I think that that's more important now than ever. I was kind of surprised at the how many had told me, we just did this like yesterday. Yeah. So that just tells me they're filling these things out, and they're not just filling out one. So don't think, as an agent, if you're buying leads from any Facebook vendor that they're being resold. That's not what's happening. There's so many ads out there, and that people are just so, they're filling out more than one ad. They're filling out more than one form, and that's just leading to a lot of competition on that side of it.
Yeah,
and that's where still I don't run into that with direct mail.
Yeah, direct mail, you're going to get a little bit of a different type of clientele, and that's okay too. I door knocked a Medicare lead. I did not door knock a Medicare lead. Let's forget I said that. I door knocked a lead that had come in within 12 minutes of the lead being generated. And the lady says to me, I didn't fill that out. I'm like, yeah, I definitely did. It was just so quick. It was a knee-jerk reaction that she had to the fact that she clicked the button and I had showed up that quickly. I had a call yesterday from somebody that had placed an order for Toolkit, and he said, we went to those leads right away, and they said they didn't remember filling them out. And I said, I've gotten the same response, but that's because it's called a smoke screen, and we have to be able to overcome the smoke screen. And remember, they did fill that out. They just did not expect you to show up that quickly to do your job. And one of the things, Adam, that I think is going to become more and more prevalent in what we're doing in our agency is instituting the CRM into that digital marketing, because the CRM is sending out automations. AI is responding. It's talking to that lead quicker than you can talk to that lead. So then the AI and the CRM is talking to it. The appointment team is talking to it. You're door knocking it. And at that point, you're giving every at-bat possible to disposition that lead. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I think that helps for sure, because that's, on the telesales side, I know so many of the lead generation, they have that capability where they're receiving those text messages. Someone fills out that form and instantly is receiving a text message, which makes it easier. Sometimes it's hard to just hurry up and get on the phone right away. But the system will automatically send the text. I had a lead come in the other night. It was like 11 o'clock at night. And I thought about it for a second. Should I call this person? I mean, heck, I know they're up. They
Yeah.
just sent the thing in, but then they might think that that was kind of weird, but I
Yeah.
didn't do it. Anyways, yeah, I'm going to move forward here, Chris, with let's see what else we got here. Um, tips to a steady lead flow. We're talking about having a budget. Also, know where you're purchasing your leads from. I think that helps. Build some relationships with different lead vendors, whether that's the toolkit leads that, like I said, I know we're in the process. Chris has been working on, our own lead generation as well. Um, Direct mail, find a vendor that you like working with, and set that order up on autopilot.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've done a lot of business in the past with like Need a Lead. I can let them know, hey, I want 30 leads a week. Here's a list of zip codes. Just
Mm-hmm.
automatically charge my card every week, and they'll do it. They'll charge your card. That's why it's important to set that money aside, put it into the account where they can charge it from, and just every week they'll place that lead order for you, and then you'll just consistently have that steady lead flow coming in. And that's important. You don't want to take weeks off on ordering leads. Just have that steady lead flow on a regular basis. So let's talk about maintaining a steady schedule, because that's also important. That's going to help with increasing your production as well. It's going to help you build stronger relationships with your clients, which you might be wondering why. Well, it keeps you out in the field. It's going to reduce stress because you're going to have more money. Strategies to maintain a steady schedule: set your work hours and set your leisure hours, and set time slots throughout your workday for what needs to get accomplished. When you want appointments, when you want to maybe work on office work, when you want to work on your follow-ups, people that you need to get back in touch with. Follow-ups, I always say, I don't get much out of follow-ups. Still not a bad idea. If you can't close that person, don't just give up on them. I mean, call them until they tell you to quit calling them. Set priorities for what's most important and least important to your day. And that's something I really do on like my Mondays and Fridays. And I'm going to go through my current work week now. See, Mondays and Fridays are usually my office days. Today, a little bit different. I do have a phone appointment. A lady that I door knocked yesterday, she couldn't meet me, and she said, "Well, call me tomorrow." We'll see how that goes. It didn't seem like she was blowing me off. It seemed like she actually wanted to talk to me. So we'll see. And then I got to go to the dentist today. And then I actually do have a couple appointments this afternoon. So today, a little bit different because usually my Mondays and Fridays are just office days. And when I'm in the office, I get on the calendar on my phone and I set my hours of what I'm going to be doing, even when I'm in the office. So like, I'm not just piddling around all day when I'm in the office. To me, that's very unproductive when I don't have like a set schedule. So like today, heck, from 8 to 9 o'clock, we have the training. From 10 to 11, I'll have that blocked out for something such as replying to agents or emails or whatever. I always have something blocked for each time. From 10 to 1, maybe I'd be working on editing, podcast, stuff like that. So I always have it blocked out of like what I'm going to be doing from those hours. And that really helps me to be more productive, like I said, on the office days, rather than just sitting around and ad-libbing and just trying to figure out what I'm doing one step to the next. Even like I said, and I still haven't posted it, I will shortly, but I've been working on my website a little bit. Those sort of things. I set the hours of times that I'm going to be doing that while I'm in the office. And that definitely helps when it comes to being productive and feeling like I actually got things accomplished while I was in the office. And then my Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, well, like I said, my goal is to have appointments set from 9 in the morning to 6 o'clock at night on the hour. So that's really my goal, is to have a heck of a lot of appointments set. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The goal is to have them set, but if they're not, well, then I'm door knocking leads when there's no shows and when there's not appointments set. And I know that going in, like I plan on spending my entire day out in the field. and I'm going to do whatever I can to get in some houses. Last night, same thing. I mean, I kind of ran out of people to see, leads to see in the area that I was working. And I went back through. It was like 5 o'clock. It was still light out. I wasn't ready to go home yet. And I started looking up policyholders that I had in that area. I'm doing whatever I can to find that sale before I go home. I could have just went home, or I've always said this too, like 5 o'clock at night. I looked up the area where I was working. I looked up to see what time I would get home, and I wouldn't have gotten home until like 7:30, like 90 minutes. And it wasn't because I was 90 minutes away from home. It was because of all the traffic. So do I want to sit in traffic for that long and get home at 7 o'clock, or do I want to maybe door knock a few more leads? I door knocked a few more leads, didn't get anywhere with anybody, but I still had time to stop at the store on the way home, and I got home at 7 o'clock. So, and that's because, like I said, I stayed out and door knocked some more leads, hoping to get in some homes or door knock some policyholders. Excuse me. At that time, like I said, I kind of ran out of people to see in that area, but yeah, that's just, like I said, when you're working the hours, put the time in, don't cut off early, try to find your next sale. And that's how you're going to be successful. If you make a sale at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, don't be like, okay, great. That's awesome. I made my sale for the day and go home, because we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. You just got to keep going. So my current lead generation, on average, I like to work 30 to 40 leads a week. Last week I took 40 direct mail leads, had a pretty good week. This week, a little low on leads. I ended up working some of the Facebook leads, and I didn't invest as much into the business, and I didn't have as good of results. So again, I mean, it's about being consistent and having that steady lead flow. Average weekly production, 6,000 a week on 30 to 40 leads, pretty easy. Last week I took 40 leads. I wrote 6,500 in premium with more business to come off of them. So that's just a good question to ask yourself. Would you invest $1,000 to $1,500 a week if the return on your investment was 500 to 1,000%? Because that's really what it is. If you think about it, I mean, that's a pretty good investment. You could invest $1,200 to make $6,500. That's a pretty good deal. I mean, that's an investment I would think anybody would want to make. So just again, like I said, bet on yourself. The wager is the money that you're putting into the leads, but bet on yourself to get out there and make it happen. And you end up making a heck of a lot more than what you're putting into it. You control the outcome. You really do. And that's, like I said, that's about all we had for today. Check out unitylifegroup.com/careers for more information. If you're looking to, get going in the business or make a move, looking for new people to work with, be more than happy to help you. And, of course, check out the YouTube, Adam Brsan YouTube, as well as the Insurance Life and everything in between YouTube channel. Lots of good content on both. Been a little better lately at kind of staying up to date with posting the videos. And of course, we also have the podcast that you can check out on Apple and Spotify and Amazon. And I don't know, all these other ones I forget the names of. So quite a bit of them out there. Here's my contact information. Get a hold of me. I'd be more than happy to set up a conversation with you. If you're with us, or even if you're with or without us. If you're with us and you just need help, give me a call. If you're not with us, I'd be still happy to help you. Regardless of whether you want to work together or not, still be happy to have a conversation with you. So that's about all I had for today. Be consistent with being successful, and that's going to happen by doing all the stuff that we talked about today, with consistently having that steady lead flow, with consistently having a steady schedule and knowing what your day is going to look like, not cutting off work early because you made a sale at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, sticking with it. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring us. And like I said, and sometimes if you have to deviate off of that schedule, well, like today, I'm deviating off of that schedule, but it's to go out and make more money. So usually I'm going to take my Friday for the office, but today I'll be in the office a little bit, but I didn't hit the goals that I wanted to hit Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I'm back at it today. And we'll see what happens. But anyways, yeah, thanks again. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you again next Friday.
Take care.
And this concludes another episode of the Insurance, Life, and Everything in Between podcast. If you like what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, share with a friend or colleague. And if you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, please leave those too. Any input is greatly appreciated. Thank you.